Okay, so this is the third installment of the narrative of what has occurred on Facebook in the last 24 to 48 hours. Now, this is a list of achievements that Jedi has accomplished in the last 20 years. First, in the year 2000, I was the first person in history to steal the Olympic torch in the Sydney 2000 Olympics in Frankston in August the 7th, 2000, and then it was repeated. And the first person in 3,000 year history, over 3,000 year history to steal the Olympic torch, and over 100 year history of the Olympics since 1896 to steal the Olympic torch. Since 1200 BC and 1896. Now, after that, people stole the Olympic torch and copycatted me in 2004 in Athens, 2008 in Beijing, 2012 in London, 2016 in Rio, and I'm sure they'll steal the Olympic torch again in hijack, obstruct the Olympic torch again in year 2021. Also, I held the Commonwealth baton. In 2005, 2006 for the 2006 Commonwealth Games in Melbourne. I also am a two-time world record holder for the longest distance ridden on a skateboard in a day and the longest distance ridden on a skateboard in a night. Same record. Mornington to Port Melbourne, 70 kilometres in 8 hours during the day. Mornington to Port Melbourne in about 70 kilometres in about 9 to 10 hours in a day. And they're two world records. Longest distance ridden on a skateboard in a night, longest distance ridden on a skateboard in a day. I'm also the record holder for the longest distance ridden on a night in a skateboard in Sydney. In 2003, I caught a plane from Melbourne Airport to Sydney Airport, then a taxi from Sydney Airport to the north end of Sydney Harbour Bridge. Then I got out the taxi with my skateboard and rid my skateboard all the way to Manly Beach. About 50 k's in about 5 hours. And that's the Sydney nighttime record for the longest distance ridden on a skateboard at night in Sydney. Now, the next thing I am is the best skateboarder in the world, the best skateboarder in Melbourne, the second most famous skateboarder in USA and Canada. Only Tony Hawk is more famous than me in USA and Canada, including Los Angeles and New York. Hollywood actors, all the Hollywood actors know who I am. Nearly all the Hollywood actors know who I am. I'm the second most famous skateboarder in Hollywood and MTV. Only Tony Hawk is more famous skateboarder in MTV and in Hollywood. And I'm also, all the MTV stars basically, most of them know who I am. Also, I'm also the most famous skateboarder in all the surf spots all over the world. Not just Torquay Bells Beach and some of the surf spots around here, also Surfers Paradise. I'm the most famous skateboarder in Surfers Paradise, Gold Coast. Not even Tony Hawk. Only Tony Hawk can rival me for fame in Surfers Paradise. In Los Angeles, in New York, in Hawaii. New York's not really a renowned surf spot, but Los Angeles, Hawaii, Surfers Paradise, Bells Beach, Torquay, Fiji, Tahiti, Indonesia, Bali, anywhere. All the surf spots all over the world. I'm the most famous skateboarder. Kelly's the most famous surfboarder, and I'm the most famous skateboarder in all the surf spots all over the world. Not just a few, all the surf spots around the world. All. It's taken a few years for word to get around, but now the word's got around about Jedi that he's better than Kelly Slater. Better than Tony Hawk, but Tony Hawk's nothing compared to Christian Assoy and Jedi. Christian Assoy is the one back in the 80s. Not the one, but he's the best skateboarder in the world back in the 80s. Not the one, he's the best skateboarder in the world back in the 80s and 90s. He invented the air over 10 foot on it. First person to air over 10 foot on a massive big vert ramp, 12 foot vert ramp. And he also is the first person to invent in an indoor vert ramp, an indoor shed vert ramp, air so high off the vert ramp that you touch the roof and come back down without a helmet on. And also he's the first person to do it with a blindfold on as well. Well, there you go. That's Christian Assoy that kicks Tony Hawk's ass. I kick Tony Hawk's ass. I kick Kelly Slater's ass. It's just the way it is. Now, also, Jedi's the best skateboarder in the world. Jedi's the best skateboard racer in the world. And the most famous skateboard racer in the world. Jedi is also the best parkour Jackie Chan stuntman in the world. And Jedi is also one of the best breakdancers in the world. Jedi is also a famous photographer all over the world, a famous artist all over around the world, a famous guitarist all around the world, and musician around the world. I wouldn't say I'm a professional musician, but I'm a famous musician. I can play guitar and bass and piano and keyboard. But however, I'm not a maestro at guitar. I could learn to be quite good. I'm alright. I'm decent now. I'm famous, but I'm decent now. But I could also learn to be quite good at guitar. I don't know if I'd be able to be a professional, but I'll be decent, quite good. I'm famous, so I'm a famous guitarist. Also, more to the point, I'm also a good, decent fighter. I wouldn't call myself a martial arts expert or a professional, what must I say, kickboxer or something. But I'm still a good, decent fighter. I've fought cops. I've fought security guards. I've been pepper sprayed. I've had the attack dog, this German Shepherd, that attacked me. I've had my hand broken by cops when I fought 2 cops. I've had my head smacked and punched and maxed and pepper sprayed against about 3 cops. I've had the cops sit their attack dog German Shepherd onto me. I've been to jail a few times. The first time was, that's jail, regardless of what you look at. I've been to psych ward about 30 times in my whole life. But that's nothing. I'm the best skateboarder in the world. What else, hey? I'm the most famous swordsman in the world. Jackie Chan is the best swordsman in the world, but I'm the most famous. I admit, though, it's in an age and time in history where swords are outdated and have been replaced by guns and firearms. And tasers and pepper spray. So, what else? Jedi, and now this has only happened recently. Jedi is also one of the best doctors in the world that hasn't been taught, that hasn't gone to medical doctor school, medical college and doctor college. Jedi is one of the best doctors in the world that is self-taught. Out of all the doctors in the world that are self-taught and learn themselves and teach themselves and self-taught, Jedi is the best doctor in the whole world that's self-taught. But not out of the ones that have been to medical school and doctor's college. He's not the best out of all of them, but he's the best doctor in the world out of all the doctors that are self-taught and teach themselves, the best. And I've proved it as well. I'm not going to tell you about the proof now. I'll tell you that at a later date. But I've proved it. I'm also a very good lawyer, a very good solicitor, and a very good barrister. I don't think I'd call myself the best in the world, but I'm up there. I have represented myself in the dock, in the jail dock, after 2.5 months in jail, and there was no money for a lawyer, nothing. And I represented myself and won my freedom. And then I returned to court 4 months later and was told that I'll probably have to do another 4 months, and 6 months all up. I've done 2.5 months, or 2 months, 2.5 months, and I got told that you will probably have to do another 4 months. No, I had legal aid represent me, but I represented myself because I was the legal aid guy and wasn't the one that told me how to win. I was the one who instructed the legal aid to how to win. You know why? Because I learned the last court case that I was in when I won and I was in the jail dock and I won my freedom after 2.5 months in jail. I remembered that they take you more seriously if you have even a legal aid lawyer. But if it's not a legal aid lawyer, it doesn't matter. I could have had it, even if as I said, I instructed the legal aid how to win and give me a corrections order for 2 years with no community work for a charge of assault in 2016 when I went to jail the second time. The first time I represented myself in 2016, I represented myself in the jail dock, and I represented myself and won my freedom. And the second time I went back there 4 months later, and I represented myself and instructed the legal aid lawyer how to win. If the legal aid lawyer didn't have my instructions, then I would have gone back to jail for 4 months. But I'm a very good lawyer. I would have represented myself when I went back to court after I was bailed, and then 4 months later I went back to court, or a few months later I went back to court, and if I had let the legal aid lawyer represent me, I would have done 4 months jail. But I instructed him on how to win the court case, because I'm a very good lawyer, I have a very sharp mind, a fucking way sharp mind. Even that's not enough to save you sometimes though, because motherfuckers come after you, man. I've escaped about 30 attacks to bash me since the year 2008, 2009, and I've escaped about 5 or 6 murder attempts since 2011. So anyway, that's the story about my lawyer. As I said, I'm a very good lawyer, a very good solicitor, a very good barrister, and one of the best doctors in the world that's self-taught and teaches himself. Not out of the ones that go to doctor school or medical college, but out of all the doctors that teach themselves, I'm probably the best in the world. Also, another thing, I'm probably the best veterinary doctor in the world. But out of all the ones that have taught themselves, the same thing. Not the ones that went to medical college for veterinary science college, but out of all the vets in the world that taught themselves or teach themselves, I'm most likely the best veterinary doctor out of all the ones that have never taught themselves. Now, another thing I'm going to say is that is that I'm a wizard warrior. I'm half part demigod. I'm half mortal human, and I'm half part demigod. But if you don't want to brag,